right.
Welcome back. This is Billy with Coach Dooley's List. And once again, if you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page and follow along on all of our social media platforms. Today, I have the pleasure of being here at Hillgrove High School with head boys basketball coach Greg Moultrie. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and especially y'all are starting to play in a couple days, so I know how busy you are. So thank you. So I always jump right in, just tell everybody about your coaching journey and how you ended up here at Hillgrove.
Okay, no problem. Coaching journey started way back in 1998 at Monroe Comprehensive High School in Albany, Georgia. I was in college, actually, and coming off our ACL, second time tearing my ACL. So just kind of what I'm going to do with myself, right? So at Albany State, the women's basketball coach saw me one day, and he said, "Hey, stop by after practice and let's have a conversation." Somebody said you were going through a rough time, right? So I came, and of course, early, and they were still practicing. And a girl, one of the players, she set the screen. She didn't roll. She kind of just statued after she set the screen. And I'm just watching. I was like, roll. And he looked over at me. And then so after practice, when we talked, he was like, "Hey, man, somebody said you're going through a tough time. You're struggling." It's like, "Yeah, I miss playing, whatever." He said, "Have you ever thought about coaching?" And at the time, I didn't. Once a player, almost always a player, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he said, "Well, I have some walk-ons that I'm putting in the intramural league. Once you coach them, let me ask you, why did you say roll?" I was like, "Well, coach, if she rolled, she would have been open to the basketball level." He said, "That's all I need to know. You'll have these 8 girls, and you're a coach." Had a great time. Went from that right to Monroe, a volunteer coach at Monroe High School. So did volunteer coach, JV, varsity assistant for a couple of years. Finished my degree. Moved to Atlanta, started working with Delta Airlines, and 7:30 to 3:30 at Delta, 3:45 I was volunteer assistant coach. So I did that for a while until I got my first head coach opportunity at Callaway High School, probably in 08, 09.
Okay.
So that was my first head coach, 2 years at Callaway High School in Troup County, and then 10 years at South Cobb, and then now I'm in my 5th year here at Hillgrove High School.
I love that. That's quite a journey, and I love that you said that it started with a coach that just noticed, just noticed you and was able to reach out. And I think that's so powerful because that's one of the big reasons I do these. Coaching is so important, and people don't realize it until it's done.
Right.
How much their coaches mean to you and stuff. So I love that you shouted them out. So in starting down in Albany State and going to, you said, Callaway, and then up to the Atlanta area and everything. What is it now? In your 5th year at Hillgrove, what is it you want your program to be known for?
We want to be known as a tough, tenacious defensive team. Of course, we want to be unselfish. We want to play a brand of basketball that's kind of hard to pinpoint. Just if you take away this one guy right here, then they're easy to beat. I don't want to do that. I also want to be known as a program that off the floor is very respectable, community service driven, and just upstanding kids, student athletes. So I'm always on the guys about doing the right thing, being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be doing it at all times. So they can use that skill when the ball stops bouncing. They use those skills later in life.
Well, you know this too. If they're doing those things in school and in the community, then it's easier to get them to do things on the floor, in the gym, and that kind of stuff too. So, what is in having a couple of different stops, and you always got stories on the court, off the court. What's one of your favorite coaching stories from over the years?
Quite a few, but kid from Callaway, he's trying to get in contact with me for a couple of years. Didn't know it. DJ Rutledge down from Callaway High School. His son, he had a son, and he always told the son about how I stayed him because he was one of those kids in high school that was always, you had to put your finger on him all the time. Like, "Hey, man, come." You had to reel him in all the time. So, "Coach, you always on me, man. You always on me." But so years later, he has a son. And he's always, he sees the errors and ways the juniors trying to do some of the same things. And just at a Falcons game, just hear somebody just, "Coach, Coach." Turn around, it's DJ V-lining towards me, right? Young kids behind him. And he just gave me a big hug, like, "Man, I miss you so much. I've been trying to get in contact with you." It's like, "Well, DJ, my cell number is the same. Man. Hey, I can't change it." "I lost all contacts, Coach. I got somebody need to meet." And he introduced me to his son. This is
awesome.
the man right here that I was telling you. If it weren't for this guy right here, I don't know. You don't know where your dad would be. I don't know where it is. He gave me a big hug. My wife was kind of emotional. She took a picture. So for me, that's one of the best stories I had in coaching because he got it. He didn't get it in high school, but years later, as an adult, as he matured, he understood that what I was trying to give him, those lessons, made him a better person in life. And same stuff I was trying to give him, now he's trying to give it his son, and he wanted his son to meet the guy that gave it to him. Not his dad, he wanted to meet the coach, and that was kind of emotional for him. I kind of get chills right now talking about it.
Well, and that's what it's all about. Those are the stories I love to hear too, because I tell young coaches, because young coaches do not get that. It's 4 or 5 at least, until the kids graduate.
Correct.
Then you run into them after college and they tell you, hey, this meant so much to me. Where a lot of times as a coach, especially when you're younger, like, is anybody listening? And, so to get that, it lets you know, hey, this is your why. This is why you keep doing it. Right. Yes, we all love to win games and that kind of stuff, but those are the things that keep you coming back.
I say to the young guys, if your why is about basketball or football or baseball, whatever sport you're coaching, if that's your why, then you shouldn't be coaching right now. Your why has to be more than the sport. It has to be deeper than the sport. You have to connect with kids. It actually is a calling because coaching is a thankless job.
Yes.
You're not going to get pat on the back for it. If you win, the players won the game for you. If you lose, it's on the coach. So if you make this kid better, nobody's at the time is going to be like, thanks, coach. It's a thankless job. So you really have to be tough in it, and you have to be firm in your beliefs and stand. And you almost have to be amoeba too. What I mean by amoeba, it might be one of your questions later on down the line, but kids today are different than they were 5 years ago, most different than it was 10 years ago, and so forth and so forth. So you have to adapt. You have to adjust. You always have to, as a coach, you always have to make sure you're studying your craft, make sure you're studying your leadership skills, different variations of leadership skills, different ways of teaching.
Yep.
Because, the standard can be the standard and you hold everybody to the standard, but it's different ways you get them to execute the standard.
That's for sure. And I love the analogy of the amoeba. If you're not willing to change, then
you're a dinosaur, right?
Yeah, and you may have to get out and start doing interviews with me. No. So, but and I love too, like you said, DJ. Yes. DJ comes back to see you, and those two, you're going to have players that over time might come to you for advice, have nothing to do with basketball, could be life things afterwards. But if any of those players or anybody ever came to you and said, Coach Moultrie, I want to be a head coach one day, what piece of advice would you give them?
First of all, I would tell them, hey, it's time consuming. So I would let them know the amount of time that goes into being a head coach today, especially today. It's different from previous years. That's fine, you want to coach. But make sure you have the time to coach. Make sure your family, your wife, your children are okay with you coaching because it's a lot of time away from home.
Yep.
It's a lot of time away from your children. I was fortunate enough, my kids were with me in the gym. You love to have them in the gym with you, crawling around, drooling on the ball or whatever. So, but you have to have a support system because you can burn yourself out too, getting into it early.
Yep.
I would just make sure you had the time to do it. And because if you don't put forth the all into it, then it's not going to be successful. Then you're going to feel like you wasted your time pursuing that avenue, and you're going to be real frustrated, banging your head on the wall.
Oh yeah, and you're not going to be happy, and you're going to take it out on players and kids, it just spirals down. So no, I love that, and I think some young coaches need to hear that now. That, like I said, the time wise, you can work hard, you can do it, but you got to make sure you are spending time in all the areas that need to be done. So didn't tell you we're going to do this, but I love this part of it. Do a little rapid fire. You don't have to give any context, just an answer. Teams coming to town from out of town or coming to Hillgrove to play. Where's the best place to eat?
Close to Hillgrove, probably West Cobb Diner.
West Cobb Diner.
West Cobb Diner right off Dallas Highway. 7 minutes from here.
I may hit that up on the way home.
Yes, sir.
All right. You had a pregame hype song. What would it be?
Oh, man. For me, it varies.
You play Wednesday. What might it be?
In the air, Phil Collins. For me, it would be Phil Collins in the air tonight.
That one gets brought up. And I've only just started doing this, probably 25% of the time already, which is awesome.
It does it for me, yeah.
It always reminds me of when Mike Tyson comes in The Hangover.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So, who's the best coach you've ever coached against? Or just one you really respect and enjoyed competing against?
Wow. I had some tough battles against a lot of great coaches. from Larry Thompson at Wheeler, James Gwynn at Campbell. Oh man, James Hartree at Tucker. Um, Actually, David Brock at Harrison, he does a great job scouting and taking away your first and second options, and you have to be pretty prepared to go deep into your.
I love how these questions kind of go in different directions.
It's hard. It's hard because again,
there's so much good basketball.
Yes,
out here.
In the state, there's so much good basketball. Out of state, like the head coach at the Villages in Florida, can't remember his name right now, but he did a great job too. Your coach does a great job when you coach against him, and then you after the game or later on when you see him, you're like, "Hey, coach, can you show me that? You know, how'd you get you guys to do X, Y, and Z?" So
in-state guys might not always tell you.
No, they don't.
Out-of-state guys.
No, in-state guys most definitely. What classification? Oh no, we're in the same classification, coach.
I'll tell you when I retire, or when they bring me to the clinic.
Yes, most definitely.
What's your pregame ritual now?
Right now, pregame, which is kind of alone. Once I get everything situated with the guys and go through pregame ritual, we go to the pregame walkthrough. I kind of take some time to myself now as I get older because the pregame ritual of the players are a little different and I just let them kind of have that so I won't get so because the way they approach the game and the way we approach the game is totally two different things.
Oh yeah.
So instead of them letting me take me out of my chi, I let them have it. Get a moment to themselves.
Yeah.
And because the music they listen to is, I don't like it.
They're not all listening to Phil Collins.
No, most definitely not. So I go over, kind of just take a minute to myself. Still kind of get butterflies before each game. And I like that because that means I'm excited and I'm still bought in. It's not, it's just not a chore to me. So I kind of just take a moment to myself and at least 3 to 5 minutes. And then we go in.
Yeah. Last one.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best player you've ever coached against? And I know too in Georgia, there's a lot of them.
That's funny you asked me that, right? We literally had a conversation the other day. The kids asked me, or the current players asked me, what was the best player I coached against. So I named Colin Sexton. I coached against him when he was at Pebblebrook and Hillgrove. I coached against Wendell Carter, playing in Pace. Coached against Scoot Henderson, who's in Portland, right? So all of these guys are NBA guys that I had to face when they were in high school.
That's awesome.
And you knew in high school that, hey, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, oh man, just.
Well, that's 3 pretty good ones right there.
And I'm listen, man. Wow. The toughest one I'm trying to because you can't really.
Did you ever see Dwight Howard or Anthony Edwards?
Well, I didn't. Well, that's another one.
Yeah.
I coached against Anthony Edwards when he was at Thero. And the funny story about that one, I just explained to them, we were winning by 20 plus. I don't know what Ant-Man had done previous, but he was benched for the first half of the game. At halftime, we're up 20 plus. Ant-Man comes in the third quarter, and he was a freshman. And we barely won the game. I escaped with like a 4 or 5 point. I was like, who is that kid right here?
Freshman.
And he was a freshman.
Yeah.
So another one, Contavious Caldwell Pope. When I was at Callaway, he was at Manchester. No, he was at Greenville. So this kid comes across half court and he's lighting up, he's shooting from cross half. Who was this kid? So I was telling the kids again, I was like, dude, I've seen a lot of talented basketball players in the state. So just to say which one sticks out is tough.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah. No, you named some good ones. So then kind of bring to the last question, one of the big ideas behind Coach Dooley's List on the website is trying to connect coaches with vendors, anything to just try to make your life a little bit easier. But the one thing I do realize too, you've been in place for 5 years, a couple of years, you've got your people you trust. So, that you love to work, and that could be anything, uniform, shoot machines, any technology. So who's a vendor that you've just loved to work with that you would refer to a coaching buddy?
Logan Mull, Owen Sporting Goods, out of Rome, Georgia. Owen.
I think they're on the website, yeah.
Logan does a great job with getting you what you need in a timely fashion. It's a mom and pop shop, So it's not as big as the big boys, the BSN or the Dicks or whatever.
But they're the ones that'll get it on time.
But he gets it on time, and
Yep.
if he can't get it to you, he'll tell you early.
Yep.
But Logan, I've never went wrong going with Logan out of Owens one good and wrong.
That's awesome.
Never.
And you still work with them out here?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, I know sometimes like to stick in their region and stuff. But
Yeah,
again,
but see, and that's another thing about him. I'm in Powder Springs. He's in Rome. If I need something and he has it, he'll drive it to me. Right now, it won't be shipped. It'll be on the back of his truck, and he'll bring it to the gym. Walking in with the bike, Coach, here you go.
those are the best ones,
So
man.
for me, he's on top of the list for me.
I love it. Well, Coach, listen, I know you're busy, and you got the season to think of, so I really do appreciate you taking the time, and I really enjoyed this.
Yes,
so
thank you for having us.
Best of luck to you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.